The skies over Beijing opened up with an intensity that defied memory. Days of unrelenting rain transformed the capital into a flood zone, paralyzing life and turning once bustling neighborhoods into eerie, waterlogged silence. This wasn't just a weather event. It was a revelation of how unprepared even a modern metropolis can be when nature pushes its limits.
在西关红绿灯路口，咱们为这个遵守秩序的好市民点赞吧。
带红外上班不得有车，还得有船。
In Beijing's northern reaches, rainfall totals surpassed 570 millimeters, nearly the city's average annual rainfall, compressed into just a few days. The mountainous terrain surrounding the capital acted like a sluice, funneling the deluge into valleys and low-lying neighborhoods with violent speed.
靠了，你这样子活整啊？你怎么跑这呢？哎呀，老爷，这老大靠，你看这里，下去了，远点一点呐。
Entire communities were caught off guard as water levels surged within hours. Thousands were forced to abandon their homes, with many relying on rescue boats or makeshift rafts as roads vanished beneath muddy torrents. State media confirmed at least 30 fatalities, but the true human toll may be higher, as isolated villages remained unreachable for days.
跳伞来喽！
哦，那不是，确实来哦。 你这会儿那是真的哦，你还敢过去哦？
看看，这是三家塘大桥，桥面都上水了。
Critical infrastructure buckled under the pressure. Roads cracked and collapsed, subway tunnels filled with water, and bridges were swept away, leaving entire districts cut off from the rest of the city. In over 130 villages, power grids failed due to water damage and landslides, plunging families into darkness and severing communication with the outside world.
At
the Miyun Reservoir, Beijing's main water source, officials initiated emergency water discharges to prevent overflow, straining already bursting rivers downstream. Secondary flood control systems, including smaller reservoirs and stormwater basins, failed to absorb the excess, exposing a critical flaw in the city's layered flood defense strategy. WMO experts have warned that outdated infrastructure and underfunded maintenance are key weaknesses in many rapidly expanding Asian cities.
还没有，这房子都冲走了，房子还在水里。
哦，等会儿咱们这路啊，咱们这路，等会儿我看看加油。加油。
Floodwaters infiltrated warehouses, ruined inventories, and halted factory operations in industrial parks on the city's outskirts. Agricultural lands in peri-urban areas like Pinggu and Huairu were submerged, damaging crops and driving up prices in local markets for vegetables, rice, and fresh meat. Transportation bottlenecks and logistics breakdowns forced temporary closures of business hubs, including vital data centers and distribution points in the northeast.
水了哦，面上水了，路要开出来了哦，安完了。
看这个水，哦，这个车哟，这下面是个地下车道，地下车库，你看这。
In neighborhoods like Shijingshan and Changping, residents reported having no access to evacuation warnings before the water arrived. Parents carried children on their shoulders through waist-deep floods. Elderly residents were trapped on upper floors for days without power, food, or clean water. The event exposed glaring weaknesses in Beijing's public communication systems and emergency readiness, particularly in suburban areas developed during the recent construction boom. The United Nations and WMO have repeatedly issued alerts that East Asia is experiencing an increase in high-intensity rain events due to rising global temperatures. According to the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, nearly 1.6 billion people in the Asia-Pacific region are now at heightened risk of flooding due to climate change and urban sprawl. In Beijing's case, experts believe the combination of concrete-heavy development and the destruction of natural buffers like wetlands has significantly worsened flood exposure.
哇！全部拉差啊，兄，全部拉差，我咪橋禮埋冇位咯。
我在这儿一直等待船救我们。
Urban planners and environmental scientists now argue that Beijing's aggressive vertical expansion came at the cost of ecological resilience. Natural floodplains were paved over, and sponge city strategies, designed to absorb and reuse rainfall, were never fully implemented. If any good can come from this crisis, it's that public discourse has finally shifted toward long-term sustainability, with officials acknowledging that reactive policies are no longer enough.
你们剪完视频，我还说那个水没有到我们小区，然后下一秒我出来，水漫金山啦！天！
着了，明年的夏天给你防水着了，出门就到干了。
Following the floods, Chinese authorities partnered with the WMO to deploy AI-powered early warning systems through the Mazu initiative. This real-time climate intelligence platform can track rainfall, forecast surges, and map evacuation routes. But implementation must reach every level, from national command centers to village loudspeakers. The technology exists, but trust, transparency, and accountability will determine its impact. As Beijing slowly recovers, attention turns to rebuilding smarter, not just replacing what was broken, but reimagining what must be stronger. Experts call for bold infrastructure upgrades, transparent risk mapping, and inclusive public education campaigns. Without them, the next storm may hit even harder, and this flood could become a mere prelude to worse disasters. The floods of this year revealed more than just waterlogged streets. They showed us a fragile system overextended by ambition and underprepared for a changing climate. We can no longer afford to treat extreme weather as rare or random. Beijing's future, and that of cities across the globe, now depends on how we learn, invest, and prepare for what lies ahead.